Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Tech Talk. Hope we didn't miss last week's. I have a poor sense of time, but in any case, we're today on what got done this week and fun concepts explored. Pardon me, my throat's a little bit rasp right now. But in any case, what we have here is a little boxer robot, and this is one of four things I think I want to show today. This demonstrates the concept, to be quite clear, of flash robotics. Now, I define flash robotics as robotics which are faster than standard 200%, but aren't quite as strong in some cases. So, little known fact, by increasing spring, you can increase the speed of action of many parts. However, you do reduce the clarity and precision of the movement by a little bit. Yeah, combined with speed 200% is crazy strong as far as speed is concerned. And if you want to cheat a little bit past that, you can lower the damper rate below 50 to, I would do no lower than 20 myself. That just makes things moronically fast. We do also have stack joints, but these stack joints, to my knowledge, do nothing. So I would ignore that. Now, this kind of came about by necessity. I was working with a guy who later made a biped out of a similar technology, so you can see him listed on the guide. A little bit of a shout out in the robotics section. So he did pretty good biped research. But yeah, in simplicity, this bot just it boxes. You can do jabs with both hands. He's like Aoki and just double punch people. Uppercuts, ducking is an option. Has a dash feature for closing distance. Can jump a little bit. It's nothing too fancy, but it gets the basics across. If nothing else, I can just nail people with 1-2s for a couple days. And yeah, good bot. A little too tall to be practical to be fist fighting things with such short range, and I did make a swordsman off of it later, but far from perfect. As you notice, this is crazy fast. These arms are borderline teleporting into position. I think I did a configuration once where they were teleporting only on return. It was like the just craziest crap. That had a lot of bugs with it though, so that. The next thing I want to get to is an experimental AG suspension system. Experimental AG suspension system. In simplicity, let me go and demonstrate this. And I almost pushed the play button. God, I always do that. Alright, so, yeah, this is our latest gunship here. It's the Emperor, as it's called. It's actually, oh wow, look, a painting error. Wait, no, that's intentional. Anyways, it's a ship with a ground attack mode, land attack mode, land attack mode, air attack mode, and some other fancy effects, including heavily armored omni thrusters. So I'll go and demonstrate this very quickly here. Just a moment. Now, in the simplest terms, this crafted maneuvers well. It can maneuver in any of 4 directions, plus the ability to turn quite concisely. And yeah, you just watch automatic afterburner installed, which I'll go over in just a moment. Laser sights, which I've already done a review on. And otherwise, it has 2 modes for each gun. Both the guns have 2 modes, I should clarify. And technically 4 modes, as I do switch what 2 modes I use for left and right mouse and ground attack mode. I have all double-barreled tank guns ×2. I have a minigun mode for just spamming the crap out of things, which is important in air-to-air combat in my opinion. And what the suspension system can do is it does 2 things. It can roll around, believe it or not. It can even reset afterwards, or you can just stay tilted off to one side. It takes forever to stabilize, so I'm not going to demonstrate that quite yet. And the second thing it does is it actually has a flip over mode where you can aim at the ground with the exact same guns and change up the modes. So from there, our tank guns turn into a jackhammer meant to shoot against ground targets for high precision and damage. They are quite noisy, but man, they are lovely. It has bombardment mode using mortar guns. They don't have the most range. They sure as hell hit hard and they hit far. So yeah, those things are hard to aim, but if you catch anything in those shots, they are downright screwed. And finally, the other feature used is that when you flip over the deck, it uses a 180 angled rotator, and spins things around for both ends of the trip so it doesn't snag. For obvious reasons, I've installed calibration between the two guns so you can aim them on the same point at different ranges. Of course, the funny thing is with this makes the second gun bob, which is beyond moronic. But whatever, I'm not going to care too much. And yeah, it basically covers the basics of it. It moves fast, it can move in a lot of directions, has a pretty armored turbine, so it's not easy to take down. It virtually doesn't suffer gravity due to large amounts of AG units that are very carefully balanced. And otherwise, yeah, it rains lead down on things. What more do you want? Maybe precision handling and not having an upside-down camera controls when using first person when a ground attack, one might say. But, yeah. So in essence, suspension... Well, actually, let's sum up all the tech while we're at it. These are obviously just compressed guns, because why wouldn't you? We end up having the core on the inner chassis here. It's underneath this pile of chassis and piston. What's really cool, my bad, put simply, is that snaps into the purple section here. Purple section here flips it over with these rotators. These rotators link into the outer casing. Dang, throat doesn't want to stay talkative. Yeah, and then the outer casing is, links to the AG and balancing units separately. But it puts those on rotators so you can actually roll around. E and Q to roll, and they can hold E and Q to level out again, which, as you've seen, is indeed slow. But, yeah, that's alright in my opinion. Now, past that, thinking here. Yeah, the Omni turbines we've already covered in the Rex video. I didn't really invent the concept by any means, but it is such a good concept, you know, I would feel like an idiot if I didn't use it. Yeah, I think that about covers most of the basics. We've already gone over laser sights before, so you can see episode 1 for that one. Yeah, sandwich flipping isn't too crazy hard to do. The guns themselves are very simple. We do actually use them work with third-person camera. This is probably what I forgot. Oh, and the auto afterburner. Gosh, I always forget that. But yeah, these cameras are meant to adjust third person for which mode. You know, this one's disabled until it's enabled by flipping over. This one is just the opposite, always on until flipped over. And both of them will cave in if the scope, the manual scope, is activated, which is very important. Now, what I would say is next, probably actually to make this thing a better craft, would be to improve the quality of the up and down optical setups. Anyways, though, what we should really take note of is that the auto afterburner is an invention I think I've already covered, but I want to cover this anyways because this is awesome. You do 12 interval, you do turbo max, and you do turbo 100, wherever your afterburner key is. With this, you can just hold down the key and it will spam afterburner as fast as you want. And the result is quite nice. You can absolutely haul ass to devastating degrees. Now, that got a little bit longer than I wanted, so hurry this next one up. This is a 2-for-1. This is the Arbiter, as I call it, and if you Google the definition for that, it's a pretty funny name, based on the fact it just has a really big gun. This is a sniper robot, put simply. And it uses a lot of the similar philosophy as my Schwerer Gustav, but it definitely has improvements as far as actually just the action of the system, the ease of use of the system, how easy it is to calibrate and to aim, and to find your mark. So this is miles better than the Gustav by many, many, many means. Let's go and show you what I mean. Right, so in simplicity, it's this old walker robot using high amounts of thrust to assist for some crazy high speeds. It does not have a dash button. I'm amazed I didn't add that actually. Just checked my F key because that's what I always put dash to. And yeah, I should also fix the suspension because as you can see it just floats. In any case, yeah, it just lays on its belly a little bit and just chills out. Like, can you be mad at that face? I think not. That dude is just so cool. And yeah, once it's enabled, the antenna glows blue. Once it's locked down. Once you enable the gun, it starts flashing green. And enables the Protrator System, which we have 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And I don't think the gun aims up to 90, but maybe I'm wrong. We also had an angled laser on this at one point, but it turns out that weighs too much and totally screws up the gun. I would love to see a reality where they did not make dummy material weigh 1/10 instead of 0, and they had parts vanishing with dummy, because that would be amazing. And yeah, you can calibrate with intent visible settings 1 through 5. This will cause a larger height. And yeah, when you fire the gun, there is a delay. What it does is it locks down the aiming joints just completely, and then it starts firing fully automatic, which isn't fast. So you know, it's a single 1615 mortar, which you can't really exceed that in terms of mortar unless you're using a cheater boss tag. At least that's my opinion, unless you want to be doing boss hunt. But yeah. Put simply, you know, it's in crazy amounts of range, very accurate system, very easy to use as far as they come anyways. I'm just going to lock down the gun for a moment here. Right, there, now we're set. In any case, the gun itself has a blowback spring and a heavy designed bolt, so it eats almost all the recoil. Although we've added more moving parts since the initial test, so the recoil's up again. The good news is we clamp ourselves to the ground, so it's not a problem at all. And yeah, otherwise it's a pretty simple system. Has a good range of aim. It's very easy to calibrate, and it is effective at many ranges. So yeah, let's talk about the science behind a lot of these systems, because this is a 2-for-1. And I want to go into this. First and foremost, we have a massive stack of hinges, including invisible ones. These hinges are absolutely monstrous, but that's what you need to carry all the damn weight of the gun, especially considering how long it is. It adds a large amount of leverage to the weight, which is really bad. And we even do the same deal before we link it horizontally, though obviously not quite to the same degree. Exact same philosophy though, a lot of mass needing a lot of movement. The legs, I think we've already gone over, but maybe I'm wrong. In essence, they're my usual Walker formula legs, which I have on my guide. At least for the forward legs, which you have to dig out of the reverse legs. I'm probably going to post that sooner or later. I just never get around to it. But yeah, in essence, they're very simple. Dummy material. This is actually dummy material. Give or take the slide, I guess. Actually, no, including the slide. Wow, I'd made this a Walker. Damn, a cheapo. Right, but yeah, my original version of this used probably slightly thinner feet, or possibly wider hips, and made this actually solid material. And by using the fold mode, which consumes the last and final action of non-spring robotic legs, for single joint anyways, it folds all the way down on itself, holding it in place, and then throws the whole thing back about 90 degrees. And that keeps it locked in. We have turning based on thrusters and movement based on thrusters because I wanted as few complex mechanisms with this as possible, seeing how it already has a massive gun. For the Protractor system, it's quite simple. As you can see, it goes blue, yellow, yellow, orange, orange, yellow, orange, red, etc., etc. In fact, we might be missing a setting somewhere here in the middle. That might be a bug, or that might be a preview error. That would actually explain a whole lot. Alright, I'm going to check this out real quick here. It wouldn't surprise me if it did have a bug or two. Oh my, it's supposed to be 60. 70. 80. Yeah, so now we're just going to go forward with the bastard and add a 90-degree interval in the middle of our explanation. So yeah, we just use couplers for the offsets of the protractor itself, as you can probably already tell. Screw it. Yeah, so that's the, wait, are you kidding? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. didn't set this to 90 is my problem. There we go. Right. So yeah, there's our 90-degree protractor. Anyways, 80 degrees was good enough because you just don't look at 80 degrees routinely or ever. I mean, unless you want to blow the elevator off a B-25 above you, which is a joke because me and my friends were messing around. One of the guys said B-25. He had with one good shot in his gun, his elevator went out, and he was doing some very interesting steering afterwards, but he made it work, so that was pretty funny. And yeah, so we have the camera, side to side, and we lock this system to the side to side. And that basically just ensures that the protractor itself follows the actual motion of left to right, but it also has about 100 block offset roughly, so it stays to the side and doesn't immediately obstruct your view. As you've seen, we do rotational offsets, so these arc back without any moving parts or any excess complex splits. Yeah, the final thing we do is we go and get this guy, which is anchored to the forward tracker, which means it also aims up and down. There's two parts to this. There is the blue part, which has no moving parts and no specialized offsets. It's just exactly where you are aiming in terms of degrees. In fact, it might be a slight, no, not even that. And yeah, that tells you your base aim point, in case you lose your green marker down below here by calibrating the gun. And this is calibrated 15 degrees, like the gun, and that's to make sure you can see where your aim is versus where your gun's aim is, and you can measure angles very precisely on the move. And yeah, that's basically all there is to it. The antenna is pretty basic. I might have already covered it. I just show flashing lights together on 190 compression pistons. I give them all a unique color and offset. And finally here, I'm just going to take just a moment. We have the Rapture. Yeah, I don't think we covered this. I checked the last video. I don't think we did, but I skimmed it, so if we did cover it, man, I'm a jackass. But yeah. Yeah, some people might get a little like, what, at this, but yeah, this is actually part legitimate walker if I recall. Oh, you bet your bottom butt it is. And yeah, the walking tech isn't the greatest. I mean, it's like the size of Texas, so go figure. Giant thrusters on the back. These are, of course, you guessed it, Omni thrusters, because these are amazing. We have a bunch of other systems. Put simply, we have kind of like on the Arbiter, we have a spinny green thing because it looks cool. Just like right, left, right orientation for those, just for decoration. And yeah, this thing's a giant gun slab from what you can see. And yeah, it's hard to explain the weapon system simply. It weighs basically 33 tons. At one point it weighed well over 33 tons. This is not too surprising really, given the fact that it's 6,200 blocks and I put as much heavy material on this as was physically possible. And a lot of the time that meant that the tech to get the heavy material was very complex and very tedious. So, you see, it actually does walk pretty alright. Hills mess with it a little bit, but it can steer enough to compensate. It has 2 laser-guided artillery turrets using the same protractor system from a lot of my other tanks. Simplified protractor. This one doesn't need to be precise, seeing how this thing just rains lead down and is supposed to scare the crap and murder things. Most time I use these, it's about 30 feet out, so I don't really need long range. That being said, they have great potential for long range if I need to tactically snipe something. They also have a left to right aiming module because that makes them actually really good. I use the Thor and the OBK without an aiming module on this, and while I still love the OBK, the aiming left to right makes it more like a tank turret, which is what makes the platform truly devastating. Now we have emergency shotgun mode on these exact same guns. Pretty simple. Yeah, we have a giant double-barreled machine gun, which fires with the power of a minigun using 16 attacks. You can see I've once again been stacking joints like a bad boy. We have a mortar sniper rifle with similar concept to the other turrets, except they're more readily available. Both guns have selectively activated laser sights when holding the trigger, and they also disable half of each other's attacks when both are active, so you can just dual wield no problem. Also calibration settings I never get into using. really should get using this. Just make me way better at CQC. Oh my gosh, so much better. Anyways. Now, from there, what we want to know is what those systems we have in place. We have a couple weapons made just to fight other titans, even though this is by weight technically a paratitan. Not by a lot though, so I'm not going to stress the difference. We have a jackhammer already built in the chest. Yes, more jackhammers? You bet your ass. I love jackhammers. This is just to bombard the crap out of something in your face with a lot of force. I mean, would you want to become the stream of that? I think not. We also have a anti-titan death ray. This was originally a longer range death ray with no charge up, but now it accelerates. And this is basically entirely because of I don't like beamers just spamming all the time at max throttle. So it just revs up and revs up and revs up. It's going to eventually just kind of reach this point. Ideally. We'll see. Oh yeah, it's smoking. Yep, there we go. Have the guns overheated, so we have to turn it off. That's about all the death rate you get. It's not particularly deadly. But if you have something that's really just bunkered down and you need to assault it, might not be the worst call. And finally, we have some sword-based feet weapons. We have stompers, which you can't see, and we have kickers, which you can totally see. This is just for sweeping things out from underneath your feet that need to be swept. Kickers really aren't that effective due to the way that the ankles work, but you know, I'd rather have it not needed than need it not have it. Oh, and finally, the charged up missile wand, which is I've improved upon this already, but it's pretty cool. It just pops out and it fires, and the good news is they can't just target it between shots. And heck, you can even lock it down so it's not even able to be shot as part of the apparatus for the first couple shots. And then it charges up, and then you can probably shoot the missiles. Oops. Yeah. So I'll probably go rebind some of the artillery gun feature on this. But that's what we have for you today. I hope some of these ideas were enlightening or inspiring. And until next time, WCCC signing out. I almost got a little bit of bonus footage here. Long story short, me and this guy called Hoghug met up in a Japanese server. He wanted to make a walker. I say, hey, I have a guide. I have some tips for walkers. I would love to hand you some tips. And what we end up coming up with between the two of us, this is funny because he says I did all the work. I say he did all the work. As far as I'm concerned, I'm right, and he's mostly right. But honestly, I feel like he was the guy who did the building. He did the design. He did the elbow grease, the research, the rebalancing. You know, I hardly did anything. I just told him what I do for science. But yeah, we had a pretty good time making this guy. I told him I'd give him a shout out because this is highly relevant. He did the arm running all on his own. I personally not a huge fan of arm running, but then again, I'm a function over fashion guy any day of the week, so that hardly means anything. So yeah, just sprints. This is like hilly terrain, so it's probably like not even the greatest speed it could be achieving. Yeah, we got a 200 flash right there. Yeah, by some accounts it does 210 at its absolute peak speed. It has two arms I can aim. He has some really odd controls on this. There we go. And yeah. It's two pretty basic guns, not much to it. But yeah, the legs themselves are incredibly impressive. Alright, I think the running animation slightly slows down the Mac, but let me see. Yeah, almost certainly. Just a little bit, but it's there. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so this guy just hauls butt. It's pretty easy to do, and it incorporates flash robotics, in this case 100 damper 50 spring. If you want to see more about this bot, what kind of system and tech that went into it, you should check out the section we have on the robotics piece of our guide over on Steam. So, assuming you're not watching this from Steam, you should go check it out. If you are watching from Steam, I recommend you reread this section, assuming you haven't already seen it. Until next time, this is WCCC signing out. This time for reals, these guys.